Could you perhaps provide some context in terms of what we can learn from the Morocco stock market experience and the impacts of SOEs and the stock market, particularly as it relates to infrastructure, but maybe other vital areas of the economy, maybe areas that we don't necessarily consider key parts of infrastructure, such as maybe non-traditional parts such as telecom, health, logistics, and maybe what have you seen in terms of what are the key success factors for listing SOEs?
Okay, thank you, Richard. I have a short presentation that I would like to share with you. So I think the topic of listing SOE and financing governments is showing great interest, mainly during the health crisis. As you know, most governments around the world have announced major economic stimulus plans, which represent significant parts of their GDP. The main issues that arise today for governments are how to finance these economic plans, and also how to diversify their financing sources. We all know that for developing countries, the external financing on international market is relatively limited. And also the domestic financing could generate the rise of borrowing costs for local companies. That's why we believe that the stock markets can play today a greater role in financing African governments. So according to our own experience, analyzing this topic requires a well-assessed of the relationship between African stock markets and the financial community as a whole. So we found that the African stock markets, mainly, I can say the North, the Central, and the West, suffered from a less favorable perception from economic players. This image, it illustrates the perception issue for the African market in general. Concerning Morocco, so many economic players still consider the stock markets too limited, with exceptional trade flows and sometimes valuation level disconnected from the economic reality. And we believe that this perception is one of the reasons that reduces the regular access to stock markets. However, if you look back to the image again, you see that the hidden part of the iceberg, which is greater than the visible one, and that point will take me to a very important idea, which is the Moroccan stock market has proved in the past great capacities through the mobilization of domestic saving, to a better valuation of state assets, and 3, high visibility of state sectoral plan. And here we have 3 examples that illustrate the capacities of the Moroccan stock markets. The first one concerns the telecom operator, Maroc Telecom, which is historically owned by the Moroccan states. So in order to finance their budget, the Moroccan government put in the market a portion of their stakes in Maroc Telecom in 2004 and in 2019. And in each time, the Moroccan government received demands between 16 to 22 times of what they ask for. And this example clearly demonstrates how the state can finance more easily and in a very short period its budget needs through the stock market. And also, if we take, for example, Marsa Maroc, the Moroccan port operator, since the IPO in 2016, the stock price has increased by more than 250%. And this constituted an opportunity for the Moroccan state to sell 35% of the company capital in July 2021 which generated 5.5 billion dirhams. So this value creation is justified by the impact of the ambitious Moroccan port strategy plan, which has been well appreciated and well valued by the Moroccan financial market. So this example shows how the states can take benefits from the stock market in order to get a better value of its assets. The third example, Cozumar, which is the sugar manufacturer in Morocco, illustrates also very well the market communication. So Cozumar benefited from the most famous Plan Maroc Vert, launched by the states in 2008, and in consequence, the group improved its sugar yield by 44% and multiplied its exportation by 6 times. So thanks to the Plan Maroc Vert, the stock Cozumar shows one of the best performance in the Moroccan stock market over the last 5 years. So when local and international analysts talk about the stock Cozumar, they always highlight the success of this strategic plan of the Moroccan states. Now, to conclude my presentation, I will share with you 2 major recommendations for a win-win relationship between SOE and the financial markets. So we believe that the Moroccan government should develop a stronger relationship with the financial market in order to take benefits from its great capacities. The objective for us is to integrate the stock market in the economic development model of the Moroccan states. For example, the Moroccan state can provide a provisional timetable in terms of listing of SOE for the next 2 to 3 years. The second recommendation is that the states should favor the listing of the most impacting thematics in terms of value creation and international visibility. We selected 3 thematics that form part of the strategic development plans of the Moroccan states. 1, the green energy. Morocco has already started a promising chapter in terms of energy transition, and this significant investment effort will allow Morocco to become a major player in this field. 2, the pharma sector. Recently, Morocco has launched an ambitious health strategy over the period 2021 and 2025. On one hand, the objective is to become an African leader in vaccines. On the other, Morocco aims to become a global player in the coming years in the therapeutic cannabis use. 3, the mining sector. All we know that Morocco has launched a promising program of hydrocarbon exploration through 13 international companies operating in the country and 54 mining exploration licenses. And we believe that in the coming years, the coming years will be full in announcements of new deposits of oil and gas. So today we believe that the context is favorable to start a positive momentum in terms of listing SOE. Our conviction is supported by the results of our AGR confidence index. So the aim of this index is to assess the sentiment of the most influential financial investors regarding the main subjects that impact the Moroccan stock market. And if you look at this chart, you will see the significant move in terms of perception of financial community towards the impact of the political context on the stock market. So the investment sentiment is reaching an all-time high in terms of confidence and optimism. Recall that in the Q4 21, 88% of the most influential investors in Morocco anticipate a favorable impact of the political context on the stock market. So with this, our conclusion is very clear. So the government should capitalize on this favorable momentum by strengthening the link with the stock market in order to reach a high value added relationship. So thank you very much for your time.